Hi guys, good afternoon, good evening, where people are. How's everyone going? It's just a little bit later than expected. Let me just pop this light on. So I'm gonna start with just a quick review, because obviously I've not been able to make a video from yesterday for tomorrow's fixtures. And remember guys, the deadline is today. Hey Sean, Alpha, Alistair, how are you all doing? Hope everyone's having a nice Friday. So I'll do just a quick review of the people who I suggest in the weekly videos to pick, take a risk on, have a bit of a differential punt, or maybe even people to avoid. So just a quick look. It was a little bit obvious, I think, last week with the likes of Vardy, which was fine, but it was just a point that, this is a point that I'm going to make straight off the bat. A lot of people recently, again, we're talking about template, and I know there's been a lot of discussion about the fact that Vardy has now just been the most captained person like of all time, so like 2 million captaincies. And I don't know, it just hit me again, and I need to try and follow this rule that too many times we're thinking about differentials, and we're thinking about, maybe I should do a captaincy pick. Now, the problem that I had, if we just look back, the problem that I had was the game week before, which obviously was just less than like a week ago. I went for Mo Salah, which wasn't the worst, but I actually didn't believe he was going to be the highest scorer, and I was just trying to hope that he did better than Vardy to climb the ranks, and he didn't, and it's cost me. So I just feel that if there's one thing that I want to try and push going forward now is, don't worry about people saying your team is template. Don't worry about how many other people are captains putting the captain's armband on whoever. You should always back the player on the team and the squad who you think are going to get the most points. And I think that's not what I've been doing recently. I feel that a lot of the time, so when I did that Salah pick, a lot of people say, no, it's template. Oh, I don't want to bring the likes. I don't want to captain Vardy. Everyone's captaining Vardy. But if you think, he was against bottom of the table, if you think he's going to get the highest points, you should captain him. I feel that sometimes too many people we're just so focused on, I need to have differentials. I think now going forward, I'm just going to be picking players that I actually think is going to get the highest points, and not care if they're a differential, or not care if other people are going to put the captaincy on them or not. Anyway, so mini rant over, just a point that I want to make this going forward. I want to do this myself. I'm going more down the talisman theory. I've mentioned it in the last couple of weeks for videos about backing the key players in a team, especially in Christmas during such a heavy rotation time. You need to start. I'm going to have players in my squad that I feel are kind of undroppable or irreplaceable. So hopefully it'll give me a little bit less headache for rotation over Christmas. So Lundstrom coming into the point, because the surprise Sheffield lost. Yeah, I backed Lundstrom. I saw a few people had put the captaincy armband on him. He was in great form. Newcastle really not that good away from home. And what a win that is for Newcastle. I believe they're above Arsenal now. So fantastic work from Steve Bruce. I think if we just sat here, start the season, and Newcastle fans didn't believe in Steve Bruce, but there you go. And Raul Jimenez with a blank there. And I'll talk about Raul Jimenez in a minute when I just quickly look at the players looking forward. But I cannot believe, I think he's the most transferred player out this game week, or one of the most transferred players out. Let's just double check that, because I am just actually astounded by that. Let's go for transfers round out. So Jimenez, you can see he's the most transferred out player player, period. 138,000 managers. The most transferred out player this game week is Raul Jimenez, who has blanked once in 5 game weeks, and he has Brighton, Spurs, albeit that's not great, and then Norwich away in game week 18, when you've got West Ham and Liverpool blanking and the likes of Leicester playing Manchester City. It absolutely astounds me that this man, I love it. I'm keeping him. It's 22% ownership. The lower that goes, the happier I am. I cannot believe he's the most transferred out player this game week. Dele Alli, I mentioned 2 weeks ago, if there was a Spurs player I was going to pick, it was going to be Dele Alli. And again, he's got another goal, so he's in fantastic form. And Danny Ings, I didn't game myself, I stuck with Abraham, and that actually paid off because Tammy Abraham did play and get 12 points this game week. But Danny Ings, really great form. And Zaha, a lot of people are going to be sort of saying ha about Zaha because obviously Mount, a lot of us went from Mount to Zaha, and Mount scored, Zaha did. But let's not forget, Palace did concede and we're not in it. Zaha is 6.6 million, 6.7 million now. We're not expecting him to bang every week, and it wasn't just for that one game against Bournemouth. It's for all of these lovely games here that you can see. That's why we got him in. We didn't just get him because of one game against Bournemouth. We got him because he got 2 goals in 2 games, and he's got a lovely run of fixtures. So that's the wrap up for the ones previously, and I'll just check up with the chat just before I look at players going forward. Why not Rashford? Alpha, I mentioned Rashford two game weeks ago, the game week before last. I'd mentioned Rashford. Was it this one? Swords and Shields 2 weeks ago? Yeah. Oh, there you go. Boom. So game week 14, I started to suggest Zaha, Ings, Rashford. So that was a few game weeks ago. So there is Rashford. I just personally can't get Rashford in because I can't afford him. But yeah, I think he's a great shout, and I've said it 2 weeks ago. I said Rashford would be a good shout, and he's gone on a pretty good run. You captained Danny Ings, and it really worked out. Yeah, he was against Norwich. It was a goal that he got, right? So it's his 3 bonus. That's sort of, isn't that what like Jamie Vardy and usually does? And I think it's Raul Jimenez that does that often as well, right? They'll get that goal and then they'll sweep all the bonus points. So it is fantastic. He's done really well if you've captained him. But again, I just couldn't go against the highest points. Leicester at home, bottom of the table, Watford, managerless Watford. I could not really go for him because I still don't feel Southampton are that much of a good side. That's it with Sterling, KDB or Dele in. Yeah, I got rid about 3 or 4 weeks ago for Sterling, and I have not looked back. A Chelsea rotating players the same as Man City. It is stressful. Well, you can see from my side that I don't. I only have 1 Chelsea player. Because I said I'm leaning more towards going for those undroppable players during a very busy festive period. I've already made my transfers for the game week, the ones that I'd mentioned last week on stream and in a Twitter comment that I put after. And Salah's gone for me, not just because he was dropped, but because it's form, basically. And I'm pretty happy with Mane and TAA. Having 2 players blank in game week 18 is not too bad. Instead of 3, having 3 Liverpool players. And after game week 18, after that blank, Liverpool's fixtures get a little bit more difficult. But Dele Alli's in great form. So it was Tielemans and Salah out. So Tielemans is a good player, but he pulls every now and then. And Salah has the potential to be fantastic, but bang out of form. And he even missed the game against Everton. And then you've got so Tielemans and Salah out. Dele Alli coming in, great form, good fixture there against Burnley. But Kevin De Bruyne, man, speaking of what I said about before I got Sadio Mane in, I said I've been scared of Sadio Mane since game week 2. And I finally got him in. I got rid of Sterling. Not bothered. He doesn't scare. I know he scored against Newcastle and then blanked against Burnley, but I don't fear it. I don't feel it with him. But KDB is so essential. I can't remember all the stats off the top of my head, but it was something like he got the most shots and the most passes, the most he's just always, he's so good. The only question with Kevin De Bruyne is, does he get rotated? Does he get dropped? But that's why now I'm filled out my bench. I've got 14 out of 15 players. If KDB finds himself rotated out, I'm okay with Traore or Sionchu or Rico coming off the bench. So that's a sacrifice I'm going to make. But KDB, I want 1 City player in, I think. And he's just so good. important to that side that maybe him and with Aguero out, Sterling, they're both kind of undroppable for City right now. Maybe and their Champions League game next week is a dead rubber. So he could play these games for City in the Premier League, and he'll rest in the Champions League because they're already through. So it's not going to be an issue. You want to keep Mount? Your thoughts, Alpha? You could keep Mason Mount if he's going to play. That's fine. If you have a look at my midfield now, I fancied Zaha. Like I said, the fixtures for the next 10 game weeks or something crazy. And again, keep saying this today, but talisman Zaha is undroppable. They don't have any sort of exterior fixtures like European games. And I'm not going to take that Bournemouth. I know people saying, oh no, it didn't really change the game. He was playing poor even if they had 10 men. But I'm sorry, if your team goes down to 10 men, that does change things. But he's still super important, so that's why I went from Mount. Not that I think he's a bad player, not that I don't think he's good value, but also, if you have a look at my side now, I have 2 Liverpool players, and that's it. Everybody else is singular. I don't have triple ups. A couple of weeks ago, it was I was playing 2 Chelsea players, 3 Liverpool players, 3 Leicester players, 3 Liverpool players, 2 Chelsea players, and that was it. All they were there, and I feel that it's more of a gamble because I'm picking and choosing from different teams. But I mean, if they all bang, if I'm choosing the most important players from each team, then I'll get a higher points than just sort of sticking them all on Leicester. When I had Salah and Mane and TAA, which is a great combination, it was kind of like Liverpool win 2-0 and only Mane will get something and Salah won't. So I wanted to just kind of say, all right, I'm going to go for Mane and I'll go to another team and see if I can get their most important player or their informed player. That's why now I'm on Dele Alli. Because at the moment, if Spurs are going to score, it looks like Dele Alli is going to be involved. So it's kind of like I could end on 100 points or I could end on 20 points. Abraham was a surprise inclusion after injury kept him on the bench. That's why I played him, because I felt as though if he was injured and on the bench, he'd only come on if Chelsea were struggling and were desperate for a goal, and I didn't think Chelsea were going to be in that situation. So you had 20. Oh, I missed a bit. You'll sell Jimenez after this game week. That's fine, but this game week is away to Brighton, and I fancy my chances. And again, he's so important to Wolves. He's a really good player. I watched the Sheffield United Wolves game, the full 90 minutes, and yeah, his movement is incredible. If they could get someone next to him who can play a better ball than Traore or Diogo Jota, he'd get even more points. 27 points on your bench. I got 3, 6, 9, but the 3 came on for Salah, but I had 6 points from Willems and 9 points from Rico sat on my bench. And I don't agree with people that complain about that, or people who complain, you're so lucky you got points off the bench. Well, if you put that in order, if I put Rico first sub, I'd have got 9 points instead of Traore. These are the decisions that we make. This isn't being lucky. This is being organised. And that's, how I feel about that. I never think someone, oh, you're so lucky you got all those points off the bench. No, well done. You picked a very good balanced squad. Jimenez fixture's not super. Yeah, but I understand that, Patrick. But Wolves, aren't they the original team that just beat the top 6? No. I say that about Leicester were the original ones. Wolves picked that up last year, and Sheffield United seem to be doing pretty well this year. But again, my idea is I'm choosing the talisman of the team. I'm not bothered if Wolves are not going to win. I'm bothered if Jimenez is going to score a goal or get an assist or not. And it's like Danny Ings with Southampton, the goal involvement, right? It's something like 40 or 50%. Even when City drew 2-2 with Newcastle, you're thinking, bad result, they've lost points. But at the end of the day, the 2 big FPL assets, Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne, got a goal. So I don't care if Wolves lose these games 3-1 or 4-1. I'm just hoping that 1 is something to do with Raul Jimenez. And yeah, Mount is good. I'd have him for sure. I did have him. I just swapped him for Zaha. I wanted a change. I wanted to try him out, basically. And I'm not expecting Zaha. In the team, actually, Zaha is maybe my 2nd or 3rd worst player. So if you can get something every 3 games or so, and then I'm pretty happy for that price. Rashford with Abraham, Vardy and Mount, or Mount out, Dele Alli in, and Jimenez out for Ings after game week 16. I want to look at the fixtures after game week 16 for Southampton though. West Ham, Villa, Chelsea, Palace, Spurs. I don't think that's too bad. Vardy and Mount, or Mount out, Dele and... I think that's, I don't know. You don't have to worry about the decision there. Try not to focus too far about that. But again, I'm not going to be getting rid of Jimenez. I don't think anytime soon. 85% Mane will not play. I don't feel that they are a tandem. I don't think it's like Firmino got dropped. So do you think Firmino is definitely going to play again? Or do you think it's going to be Firmino, Salah play and then Mane doesn't to cover it? Like, I'm not too sure. A lot of people we're just assuming, right? We're just thinking, well, if Firmino and Salah has a break, that means it's Mane's turn for a break, which is pretty logical thinking, but not something that I'm that worried about. But that is why Mane's not my captain right now. I would have liked to have captained Mane, but after seeing Klopp sort of dare to rotate out Firmino and Salah, why wouldn't he drop Mane for a game and give him a rest? So that's why the armband's not on him right now. Pope to Henderson or Guaita. We talked about this. I had a couple of comments on the video last week about this. Now, I think Henderson's got fixtures, but if you've got Lundstram, I don't like particularly doubling up on defence. If Guaita is worth the extra 0.2 or 0.3 or whatever he is, then I would say Guaita. But the problem with Crystal Palace right now is look at that defence. Van Aanholt, Kelly, Van Aanholt, Ward, Cahill, Dan, Sacco. Sacco's banned, isn't he? Because he got red carded. So, I would say Crystal Palace, but looking at their current injury problems at the back, it does put me off just a little bit there. So you sell Mane to Salah for this week? No, Alpha, I wouldn't do that. Don't go Mane to Salah. You'd lose your money on Mane because you've gone up. Salah will keep going down and down and down. You'll lose. I mean, look, he's already got, what is he worth now? He's 12.3 now. So you sell him, you're going to buy him back next week and lose your money. So yeah, Sean, that's why I was saying Guaita is the better option usually, but it's that injury crisis you can see that Crystal Palace are currently having that puts me off a little bit. You need the points this week because also the cut. Yeah, I believe if you finish in the top half of the game, so there's something like 7 FPL managers, right? So if you finish inside the top 4 million-ish, I think you qualify for the cup. Guaita, TAA, Lundstram, Chilwell, Son, Mane, Maddison, KDB, Tammy Vardy, Ings. Anything you should do. Who's Palace got this weekend? Watford away, isn't it? Would I do it? I wouldn't change anything. Like, I think that's a pretty solid... I'm just thinking where your money is. You've got KDB, Vardy, I guess, but it's only 2... Oh, TAA. Sorry, I missed TAA. That's what I missed there. I think that's a solid team. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Sean. I mean, I don't want you to waste transfers, but is there not a better sub than El Neni? I just like at this stage and in the future with double game weeks coming up and blank game weeks and that, I like having like a full bench basically. And also I don't know what it is. I never really feel that endangered by Maddison. I'm not too sure why. You're bringing target from Villa for Van Aanholt or Chilwell, both are injured. Yeah, I had Van Aanholt on my fan team FPL and I had to transfer him out. Especially with this run of fixtures, I thought it would have been really good for PVA. Unfortunately, he's injured. Chilwell's injury, though, I'm not 100% sure on. If I'm honest, I didn't think it was that bad. It's a 75% chance of playing, but you can never really trust the fantasy. You want to be checking on verified Twitter accounts for that. The problem with Villa, though, is if you're gonna put him on the bench, if you're gonna put him on the bench for a few weeks, then fine. But Villa have some pretty difficult fixtures coming up. Saint Maximan, I backed him a few weeks ago, and he finally got his first goal. And Newcastle are looking solid. I think game week 18 they're against Palace at home. Let me check. Yeah, Crystal Palace at home, game week 18. So if you've got a couple of Liverpool players, so you can't replace TA, but he'll come on for Mane, won't he? Because he's one of your players. So having him at home to Palace for a game week, I don't think is the worst thing. De Bruyne for Zaha as a change. Yeah, Khaleesi, you can't really compare that, right? Can you? Like De Bruyne for Zaha, 100% yes, but that's a little bit unfair on Zaha. That's kind of me like saying, you know, Danny Ings or Jamie Vardy. They're both in good form, both good fixtures, but you're gonna go Jamie Vardy. Like they're two completely different price categories. If you just said like Zaha or Mount or Grealish, those kind of areas, that's more difficult, but it's a little bit harsh to kind of put Zaha against Kevin De Bruyne, who isn't he the second highest scoring midfielder? Yeah, it's a little bit harsh to put Zaha in a category with Kevin De Bruyne. Henderson, yep, solid. Chilwell, PVA, who's injured. TAA, Mane, Traore, Ward-Prowse, Madison, Lundstrom. Yeah, I like that squad. And I like Kante on the bench as well to rotate in if he has to. And I like Firmino. I had Firmino. He did nothing for me. And I've had him a few times because I've said this before. He's possibly my favourite real-life football player in the Premier League. He seems very nice. He's got some great skill. I do quite like him. Alioson, regardless of price. This is something that I've listened to on... So I listen to a lot of podcasts and watch other videos, often after I've made mine, sometimes before. And this one was from Planet FPL. And one of the lads, they're a Spurs fan, and the other one's a West Ham fan. And they believe that actually over the next few game weeks, Dele Alli is going to get more points than Son. I do think both of them are great players. But when Ali's on form, Ali's nice on form right now. You can see 5, 15, 9. He's got 3 goals and an assist in the last 3. Apparently he's got a really good record against Chelsea. I think both of them will be great. I think if one disappoints, they'll both disappoint. If that makes sense. Like I don't think it's going to be like you're going to sit here. You'll say, right, I'm going to go for Son. And then Dele Alli gets 50 points and Son gets 2. Like I think if they both do well or they both sort of fail. So you have the armband on Jesus right now against United. Bold when you've got Vardy going to a Villa side that has conceded again. I think like the most shots. You got there's a. People are scared about Liverpool right now. They're scared about Salah, Mane, perhaps, or even Firmino, if you're talking about him as well, getting rotated out. So, I mean, if Jesus scores 2 goals, he's probably going to play. At home, United, not particularly great this season. City want to get back on track. It's a Manchester derby. They need something to shout about. They don't have to worry about resting the place for the Champions League because we're already through. Why not? Why not give it to Jesus? You had Firmino for 6 weeks and got rid of him, and then he scored. Yep, that's just what happens all the time. I got rid of Mount, and then he scored. That's happened rarely have I brought people in and they've carried on such great form. I think Jamie Vardy's the only one that's done that so far. I mean, I've kept hold of Tammy. For quite a long time now, and he's ticking on nicely. Mane's continued. He's been in for 5 game weeks. Actually, looking at my team now, I actually started the season with Rico and then brought him back in later on at some point. I don't think I've got any people in my team from game week 1 anymore. it's an entirely different... oh no, Button. There you go. Button, the season keeper, has been in the whole time for me there. Because Salah left this game week, and he was my longest serving lad. One more game for Firmino, then you'll bring in Abraham and Ali for Traore and Firmino. Yeah, I think that's a fair transfer. What I usually do is 1v1 transfers are difficult when you're looking at players and form. Like, even if you think Ali or Son, that's a difficult one. But when I have like I said for myself, when I compare both players, so Salah and Tielemans against KDB and Ali, KDB and Ali are a better force. So, yeah, I think that's right. Firmino and Traore versus Abraham and Ali. I think A and A is A-okay. Ali or Rashford? I've got to go. I mean, United are so, inconsistent. They had a good win against Spurs. And then City away, I think you'd be pretty bold to beg. I'm not going to say he's not going to score against Man City. They've been pretty poo in defence, but I don't know. I mean, if you had to, I'd choose Dele Alli because, I mean, that's exactly what I did. So, as proof. But Burnley, Wolves isn't great. Chelsea, Chelsea concede at the very least. Brighton, Norwich, Southampton. That's a pretty nice run to game week 21. And then 22, yeah, I get that it's difficult at home to Liverpool. But then Watford, Norwich. So you're looking and thinking, Wolves isn't that easy. I think that's a difficult fixture. Chelsea's difficult, but I think there'll be goals in that. And then 22 Liverpool. But all the way to game week 24, even if you go to 26 and just say 3 of those games are difficult, I think maybe it's time to go for Spurs. They're still not great at the back. Don't go for the defence, but I think you can sort of have a pop with Ali or Son. I'm not going for Kane yet. I still think he's way overpriced and he's not done anything yet. Who are you dropping? Me? This is going to be my team, I think. I would like to captain Mane, but I'll kick myself if he gets rotated out because that's what a lot of us are feeling is going to happen. Jimenez or Mount? Jimenez, Brighton away, talisman, great player, key to Wolves. Firmino out because of game week 18, no go with 3 Liverpool players. And the thing is, a player like Salah and a player like Firmino, you won't lose any money because their prices keep going down. If you did it to Mane, you'll lose money. Oh, excuse me. Been a long day. Hey Vince, your prediction for this game week: United to win 1-0 at Manchester City. Vince, what was it? What was it that you said weeks and weeks ago? Was it like Sterling was going to get dropped against Watford or something, right, Vince? And we were all like, no, and even you were like, oh, no, maybe not. And then he got bloody dropped and we all just kicked ourselves for it. Hey, Magic Aaron, how you doing? What do you reckon who to play? Tielemans, Pulisic, Zaha, some room for 3. Well, Son, that's 1. If you had to drop... but... Now, you'll go... Oh, God, don't say you'll go like me. I'm rank 1.5. I was clawing my way back with sensible stuff, and then I went, let's captain Mo Salah instead of informed Jamie Vardy. And then that cost me 400,000 places. Magic Aaron, people might disagree here. I would go Pulisic, Zaha, and Son. Now, Son, I think, is a given. He's at home to Burnley. He's a great player. Pulisic keeps getting right at the top of the list for shots from midfielders and shots in the box and whatever and chances. So then you're really going to narrow it down there to Zaha against Tielemans. And then again, I keep saying it, talisman theory, but Zaha is... Palace don't score a lot of goals, but he's very important to that. Tielemans could get an assist. He could get a goal. Leicester are a fantastic side. But I just feel like in the Leicester pecking order, you got Jamie Vardy, who scores most of the goals. And then maybe Maddison. And then Tielemans. So I just feel as though But Crystal Palace, who's going to score for Crystal Palace? Zaha. And then other people. I mean, that's tough. Can you just play all of them? Tomori out. I actually said this again, was it last week and the week before? I think Tomori is a waste of a Chelsea space. I think if you wanted to do something like... I actually did the stats for this, didn't I? It was like 0.015% is Pulisic, Willian, Abraham as other managers owning that. I think Chelsea still don't really keep clean sheets. I mean, he got one 9-pointer a couple of weeks ago, and everyone's like, oh my God, and then he's been dropped, and they just don't keep clean sheets. So I think he's a waste. He's a good price, but I think he's a waste of a Chelsea space, and there's other players out there. So I've had Williams for about 3 or 4 game weeks. I've only really played him once. But I mean, he's even got up in price, 4.6 now. But he's ticking along nicely. 12-2-2, 8-2-1-7-6. So maybe just cut your losses. Take that. Captain Abraham. No. Purely because Everton's got rid of the manager. So they could have that new manager bounce. Big Dunk Fergie is, I think, in control at the moment. But he's still got that flag. I know he played, but again, he rushed him back. He needed him against Villa. He played 82 minutes. Just a little bit worried that maybe he's just nicked it a little bit. He's still not 100%. And I think they need their Champions League win or not to lose their Champions League game. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see Tammy Abraham not play this weekend. Lundstram or Kelly to let him start this game week? Lundstram. He's away to Norwich. And he plays attacking midfield. Ayew or Mousset? I've actually, on my fan team FPL, I've got Mousset. And I would back Mousset. But the problem is, even though their own Twitter account keeps saying, Mousset is so highly, he's getting so many points, he's getting so many goals, he's doing so well since he's coming to the side. He got dropped again. Or he only played 20 odd minutes. But Ayew plays for Palace. They're away to Watford. So if you want to have a risk, Mousset is against the worst defence in the league. But Ayew will play longer, and they're against bottom of the table. So it depends how much of a risk you want to take there. So Ayew or Mousset to start, I think that's fine. But yeah, Mousset's more of a risk because of playing time. But maybe Sheffield United, because he didn't score in the last game, maybe Chris Wilder will be like, right, I'm starting you this time. He started against Wolves, and he scored. And he didn't play that long in the last game. In the loss to Newcastle at home, so Chris Wilder might be like, right, get back in, Mousset. So I'd go for Mousset. Ings to Abraham, you have Vardy and Jimenez. Or Jimenez. Why do I keep calling him Jimenez? You got to come back to the veg. Come back to the veg. That's what I've got. But, I mean, if it's for free, FPL Maestro, then yeah, but people, I mean, I literally the points I've just said, Abraham could get dropped. He's still not fully fit. They need him for the Champions League. And Ings is in pretty good form, and he's going to Newcastle. Granted, Newcastle are doing all right recently, but again, similar to what I said about Jimenez before, if Southampton score, you expect to see Danny Ings somewhere in there. So maybe just give it another week for Abraham to get fully fit. I didn't take him out. It's not like I've brought him back in early and he got injured. I kept him. I left him in the side. And it paid off. But I'm not fully expecting him to play in the next game. That's your gut instinct too. No problem, buddy. You sell Sterling and Mount. You got Son and Maddison. Yeah, I said this earlier. I'm not that bothered about Maddison. I'm just not. I'm not. Maybe, now this is something sometimes we don't think about. Maybe think of doing something like Sterling and Mount to Son and, 4.5 million midfielder and change to more players up front or go 4 at the back and get a better better defender like Pereira or something like that. Don't just think about 2 midfielders for 2 midfielders. Think about it as 2 players for 2 players. So when I was tinkering around, when I was thinking Salah's probably going to come out with Tielemans, I didn't just think, okay, Salah, Tielemans, midfield, they must be midfielders. It just so happened that I wanted KDB and Ali. But I had tinkered with, for example, Abraham and Salah to come out to get Firmino and Ali. So maybe have a look at the team and think maybe a change of formation. Mount or Trossard to start? I'd go Mount. I think I'd still go Mount. Wolves is not an easy fixture. Aren't they like 5th in the league? And I just want to check, though, about Trossard's playing time, because I thought it'd been cut. Yeah, I won't go Trossard just 10 minutes and 21 minutes, 90, 59. I mean, I don't like playing players that don't play. I'm not trying to be funny there, Pulikesh, but do you know what I mean? Like, if this would have been like 90, 80, 90, 60, 75, 90, I'd have been a bit more like, oh yeah, that's interesting because Trossard's a pretty good player. But such a small amount of game time, and Mount's just scored a goal, I'd probably go Mount. Do you think Pulisic will miss out? Yes, and this is again something I've called, I think, was it 2 weeks ago or last week? My video was about like Christmas planning, because we all know how busy the Christmas period is. I mean, it started this game week. We've already seen the likes of Salah and Firmino get rotated. They're young. Chelsea are young. It's a young squad. And I already said that I thought Pulisic would have been rotated out had Hudson-Odoi been fitter in time, because he did have a knock in that last game. I know he came on for the last 19 minutes and he came on for 4 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pulisic get dropped, maybe even Mount get dropped. And again, that's why I've only got one Chelsea player, and that is Tammy Abraham, and that is because he yet again has proved, surprise, surprise, talisman. Like, he didn't play, they couldn't score. He comes back, he gets in a goal and assist. And we've seen Giroud try and step up for Tammy Abraham's place. We've seen Batshuayi try and step up into Abraham's place. And both of them have fluffed the chances. So Frank can be free to rotate Mount, Pulisic, Willian, Pedro, Hudson-Odoi on their wings. But he can't afford to keep messing about with Tammy Abraham and swapping him for Batshuayi or Giroud, because they don't step up to the plate. Why aren't I starting Sionchu, Dylan? Why do you reckon? Oh, okay, fair. I'll answer the first one. Why am I not starting Sionchu? Because I don't think that they'll keep a clean sheet. That's basically it. Sionchu's bar is like 6. He's going to get 6 points, right? But I mean, Williams scores, and he's at home to Southampton, and he's an attacking fullback. Lundstrom is a centre attacking midfielder, and he's at Norwich. I'm not going to play him instead of my midfield or attackers. And he's not even ahead of Traore, because Traore, again, I said I watched the full game of Wolves to really have a good look at, and I had a full game when I saw Wolves beat Man City, and Traore, he's just so strong and so fast, and it's like he doesn't know what he's doing, so no one knows what he's doing. He's exciting to watch. He's just a machine. And then Sionchu, he'll get you 5, he'll get you 6, which is fine. But I'm like I said earlier, pick the players who you think are gonna be the highest scorers. So if I'm sat here next week, Williams got 2 points or 1 point, and Sionchu got 5 or 6. I'll accept that. Completely accept that. But I'm going for Williams because you can see he got a clean sheet here. He got a goal here. It's kind of like he's going to get... His ceiling is higher than Sionchu's. Who do I think will be the highest points scorer in the season? Sadio Mane is the answer to that one. Trossard has an FPL team as well called Trossy. Really? Actually, I didn't know that. When am I going to sell Jimenez? Haven't even thought about selling Raul Jimenez. Partially, if I was to sell him, I'd put him to Connolly at 4.7 and maybe go 4-4-2 and get Robinson and go double Liverpool, which sounds crazy right now, or spread the funds, because I can't go up to Rashford. And I'm not that excited even if I could. And there's no one cheaper than Raul Jimenez that I want. So it'd either be I just go all the way down to someone like Connolly who plays. And then it'd be like, or I go 3-5-2, so Traore will get upgraded to an 8.1 midfielder. Again, there's no one, I could get Maddison, but there's no one in that. But then I'm like, Jimenez versus Maddison. I prefer Jimenez right now. Or I, take Sionchu out, and I got 7.7, so then I put like Robertson or Pereira at the back, and I go 4-4-2. That's the only way I'm thinking of getting rid of Jimenez right now. It's Pope who's actually kind of on my radar at the minute, but goalkeepers I think you can just leave. I mean, people were saying in game week 9 and 10, right, maybe it's time for Pope to go, and then he got 9 and 9 right there, and he's not. When you look at the goalkeepers, the scores, he's 56. He's 10 points off the top goals, the point scorer in goalkeepers. Why am I going to waste a transfer on a player that's, I can jump up to? People are saying, I'll go Gaeta. He's got fewer points at the minute. Maybe he'll get more, but I'm going to waste a fixture on that. Watching Traore, is that watching a blue off fly? Probably saying it was a light bulb. But Vince, he is good. Like, he comes up with some nice touches, and we all know what he's going to do. If you've watched a Wolves game, you know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to turn. He's going to put the ball in between his legs, doing doing that in between his legs, and then he's going to knock it down the right side of the wing, and he's going to cross the ball. You know what he's going to do. I know what he's going to do. Maybe he knows what he's going to do. The defenders know what he's going to do, and they cannot stop him because he's so fast and he's so strong, and he has some nice footwork sometimes. I think he's a good player. Look at him now. He was a sub, and then he was right full back, and now he's properly right winger. Like, it is Jimenez down the middle, Jota on one side, Traore on the other, and he's not been dropped. Like, look, he's not been dropped since, let's say, game week 6. So he did 45, 14, 90, and then sort of 55, so he's kind of got a little bit dropped there. But then, boom, game week 6, 90, 86, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 88. So, I like him. I think he's good. Would I prefer Grosh, Schlupp, or Trezeguet? Schlupp's a midfielder this year, isn't he? I think it's 2 in 2, isn't he? He's scored. Yeah, 2 goals in 2 games. Oh, Grosh is good, but Pascal can get dropped sometimes, can't he? 39-90 dropped. Or was he injured? 31. He's getting more game time. Brighton fixtures. Pretty decent, but I'd be leaning towards. I want to say Schlupp, but I don't really want to say. I don't want to say Trezeguet. That's for a fact. Go Pascal. Defenders. I'd recommend pretty much. I think a lot of people have got the defenders that I actually have. But I mean, what level are you talking about here, George? Just while we're thinking about that. I just wanted to put on the predictions for this game week or players. So I did pick Mane as well. I mean, we saw the Everton game, and he's so good. I was asked earlier, right? Dylan asked me who do I think is going to be the top goal scorer. I think it's going to be Mane. I think he's been fantastic. He looks so good in creating. He could have scored probably about 4 or 5 goals. Heung-min Son. I've gone for Son and Ali as that combination. I think there's some difficult fixtures this week. Liverpool were a bit worried about people getting dropped. But I feel like Son and Ali are both talented players. Pretty decent form, so I think they'd be good solid picks. And I am backing Raul Jimenez. I am backing him. People need to leave him alone. People are transferring him out. He's the highest transferred out player, and I think he's going to make people, hopefully, I've got him as well. He's going to sort of make them eat their own words, because it's a little bit like Callum Wilson when his price kept going down in the first couple of game weeks, even though he was getting 5 points or 6 points every single game. But I mean, look at that, 99752. Are people thinking, oh, well, numerically it's going down in order? So, I don't know. I think they're being a bit harsh, but I think Brighton away, Spurs at home, Norwich away. I I think they're fine fixtures for me. You can see Danny Ings is still a differential. He's still under 10%. I think he's 9% now. I think he's really close. 9.6%. So this could be the last week we see him in the differential section. But again, great form. Newcastle away, West Ham, then Villa. He's got 8 goals this season. He scored 4 goals he scored a goal a game in the last 4 game weeks, and he's polished up the 3 bonus points in the last 2 game weeks as well. And then finally, as my differential, I have gone for Harvey Barnes. So a lot of us are looking at Leicester. Chilwell, Pereira, Soyuncu, Maddison, Tielemans. People for some reason are still looking at Perez. I wouldn't. And of course, Jamie Vardy. But I think that Barnes is massively overlooked. 1.1% ownership. He's averaging between 70 to 85 minutes game time. So 79 minutes, 81 minutes, 77 minutes, 73 minutes, 84 minutes. He does play up the wing. He's not done anything really yet. He got 2 assists in that 2-1 Burnley win in Game Week 9. He got 9 points in that thumping of Southampton as well. And he's not done anything since, but he is playing. And Leicester do have those nice 2 fixtures. Villa this game week and Norwich in the next game week. And I just feel as though it's that compound differential, right? It's like you've got Vardy, you've got maybe Soyuncu. Get Barnes in there as well. He's 5.9 million. And those 3 combined is a good differential if you think Leicester are going to do well in the next 2 games. So they are my picks for this game week. Hey man, how's it going, bud? Given a choice, which defender out of Soyuncu and Tomori would you keep? Soyuncu! I would keep Soyuncu. I mentioned earlier, I feel like Tomori is a little bit of a waste of space. A Chelsea space. I know it seems harsh, but look like... So he got 9 points in game week 12. And then what? He got 5, so a clean sheet with a yellow card. I think 5 points. And a 7 game week. Like, he's not... that's not good. Do you know what I mean? And you take him out and you could have, like I said earlier, Pulisic, Willian, Abraham, or Mount, Pulisic, Abraham. You have that kind of combination instead for better points per million value and just general value anyway. 4.9, I definitely won't be buying now. Did he start at 4.5? Yeah, he started at 4.5. But even at that price, 4.5, if you got him for 4.5, or if you can get 4.7 at least for him, there's a bunch of players out there, I feel that. So you've got, this is the 4.8 category, about what you would get if you sell Tomori. Where is Tomori on this list? He should be somewhere. Oh, he's not counted as 4.8 now, is he? Where is Tomori? All the way down here. Montoya is on the same points and he's 0.4 million cheaper. I just look at all Mings is above him for cheaper. Basham, the whole Sheffield United defense. Willems at 4.6 is 20 points. No, 15 points higher than him. Dunk, who's been doing pretty well at Brighton. But there you go. Soyuncu, second in the list, 5.1 million. Did he start at 4.5 as well? I've had him for ages, Soyuncu. Yeah, he started at 4.5. So 100% would go Soyuncu over. And Leicester are just better defensively than Chelsea. And to get which one out of Kelly or Aurier? Kelly's going to play in these good fixtures for the next sort of month. So I would probably back him. If you're going for Aurier, you're going for attacking returns. Because then you're not going for clean sheets with him. So for solidity, if you're going to be a bit more solid, going for clean sheets, I'd say Kelly. If you think Aurier is going to get those attacking returns, then I'd say him. You've got Soyuncu, Lundstrom, Ake, Aspilicueta and Peters. 3, but George, buddy, 3 of those defenders I'd be getting rid of. And it's the last 3 on that list. Ake, he's done all right, but look at the injuries. Poor Bournemouth. Who've they got? Liverpool, Chelsea, Burnley, Arsenal in the next 4. All right, so first of all, goodbye, Ake. I wouldn't have had him myself. I mean, you keep him if you want. Yeah, it's your team. But Azpilicueta, the thing that worries me, I always say he's Mr. Reliable. Let's look at his history. I've mentioned this before. Azpilicueta. Look at this. 158 last year. 175, 170, 124, 132. Like, he's Mr. Reliable. But he's been losing his place to James. Look at that. Last 4 game weeks, 90, 31, 90, 90. Granted, I know James can go at left back as well. But Azpilicueta has missed 2 out of the last 4. So that's another player. And then Peters at Burnley. Hasn't he lost his place now to Taylor? I know Taylor's got a bit of an hamstring injury now, but 90. So he played against City when they got drubbed 4-1. 54 dropped. So 2 of your defenders are hardly playing anymore, George. And Ake, I just don't think is a good choice. You like Dunk, but you sold him. Why'd you sell him then if you like him? Do I think Lundstram will get a clean sheet against Norwich? No. As much as we don't want to admit it, Timu Pukki, Todd Cantwell, they are back with a bang. We just don't want to admit it. But it's the same situation where I feel as though he's got the highest point ceiling of any defender, excluding TAA, I guess. But you're not playing. I'm not playing 3-4-3 right now. I'm playing 2-5-3 because Lundstram is a box-to-box midfielder who's constantly getting into the opposition penalty area, and just a goal from him or an assist from him just shoots his points right up. So again, Lundstram, always think about value. Lundstram, I know he's 5.1 now, but got him in when he was like 4.2, right? So for me, I don't see him as a 5.1 million player and what I got for him, so let's just say, I don't know, 4.5 million, right? I'm not expecting him to get clean sheets every week, but he's just outscoring everything, and he's playing attacking mid. Like, I just can't not play Lundstram. I didn't, on that big haul he got, 21 points, game week 11. I got that because I played him, because he just... I think it would be mad if you just don't play him if you've got him. If you've not got him all, then fine, but I just feel he can play any game because he doesn't play defence. Yeah, your defence is a state right now. Yeah, sorry, George. I agree. I can't not say. Being billion in the top 4 cash places. Nice. You're so done because he got too many cards and missed a match. Then that's what your bench is for, Alpha. You just let him take a break. Bring one of your boys on from the bench. So, who are we captaining? Yeah, Trent is on 4 yellows. Kiffian, hi. Lundstrom's on 4 yellows. Sterling's on 4 yellows. I mean, there's quite a few. I mean, it's not a surprise at this stage in the season. We're 16 game weeks in. But yeah, again, Trent gets a yellow card. I'm not bothered. I've got Sionchu, I've got Rico on the bench. So it's less of a selection headache. So who are we captaining this week, guys? Who are you putting the captaincy armband on? That's the question. I said I don't think about putting on Dele Alli. Spurs at home just disappoint everyone. I could put it on Kevin De Bruyne, but he could get rotated out. We know what Manchester City are like. Jamie Vardy's still in top form. He still scored. He still changed his own record. And we're just worried Mane's going to get dropped a little bit. keep Vardy, and that's another thing, right? Jamie Vardy as well, George. Yeah, good. Let's just do it. Vardy party all day long. I think we've got to. Like, if we all captain Jamie Vardy right now and he blanks, none of us are going to sit here and think, oh, what a stupid decision. What was I thinking? Captaining a player who scored in the last 7 games. Is it 7 games he scored? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. He scored in the last 7 games. And it's like 2 goals, 0, 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. What was I thinking captaining this ridiculously informed top FPL scoring player? What an idiot. Like, we're not going to be doing that. Mane or Salah for captain. Again, Vince, I don't go against that. I did Salah a couple of weeks ago. Technically did better than Mane because he came off and got that clean sheet point. But I'm just personally, again, if I captain Mane this game week and he blanks, I wouldn't think I made a bad decision. Bournemouth are not looking good at the moment. Very poor at the back. Liverpool and Mane in particular are looking very spicy. But I just don't want to put the captain's armband on someone that, I possibly might not start. That's what I'm thinking anyway. All right, I'm going to cut it there, guys, just before the hour mark. It is Friday. 1 week you sub maximum you scored. Perfect. That's what you want to see. And he has been the best player this month, without a shadow of a doubt. Top player. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there for this week, guys. It's just under an hour. Please remember the deadline is tomorrow. It says 7:30, 7th. So 7:30. It's tomorrow morning, I think, for you guys, isn't it? So just make sure you sort out the teams today, now, before you go to bed. And I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully, we're going to get green arrows. We'll be a bit back to normality next week with the videos and such. But thank you very much for joining and watching. Maybe leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter. That's the key one. I always put stuff on Twitter, and I'm all by myself on it. So thank you very much. I'll just put my Twitter in the chat. And hopefully I'll catch you guys soon. Good luck this game week. Let's all get those green arrows. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later. See you. Bye-bye.